You know what you're in for.
I'm going to swap this.
Let's go again.
Okay, same thing again.
Okay, so the reversal card. Cards down, we're locked in.
Amount of experience is often way overstated in terms of the importance that people place upon it.
So I guess if you've got your war room together and you've got the right personalities in there, and you're going to have to make a call when you've just got to say, thanks for all of that, but actually I'm going left.
I invite him into my office and we have a cup of tea and we talk about what he thinks and what I think, and then we decide I was right. So yeah, explain it, own it.
Do you want to have a look at your score?
This is a bit like Top Gear, isn't it?
Let's do it. Oh, is that a new leader? The Human Loop podcast, powered by Ethereum. I'm Ben Stocken, CEO of Ethereum. We help businesses measure and grow employee lifetime value. Because the single biggest factor in how much an employee is worth over their time with you isn't who you hire, it's who manages them. On this podcast, we put business leaders under pressure by asking them a secret question, analyse their score live, and mark them against 5 key areas that make or destroy employee value. Let's get into the show.
Hi, how you doing?
This is Josh.
Hello,
Josh.
It's James.
This is you.
Cool.
Come over, make yourself at home.
Oh, well. I'm gonna open this in case I need to make a note or two.
Okay, yeah. Feel free.
I think, I don't know if I ever told you this, but my first ever boss wouldn't start a meeting unless everybody had a book and a pen. Just wouldn't start meetings. So he sent people away and yet everybody else would sit and wait. Well,
nice.
And I've stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that rule, but
Yeah. Just a habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used to be like that.
Yeah.
And now I either have something like that, which isn't working at the moment, we'll use that in the decision sprint, or I'd be here with my notes.
Well, I'm also doing that an awful lot, and this is great, but I still find if I'm just trying to get my thoughts in order, I find my shorthand better than this.
Yeah. I'm torn. So I still carry around in my bag like an A. I can't do A5, which that is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I have to do, is it B5?
Well, is that the smaller one or the bigger one?
Bit wider. No, bit wider. Because for some reason, for my writing, and I guess this is a little bit of my nuance, I just like to get more words on a page for some reason. So it's just slightly bigger. So I get more words on a page and I just feel a bit more comfortable. And also, again, might be a little bit weird, I can't have a hardback. It needs to be like semi-soft.
I see, I have to have a hardback because I shove them in bags.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is great. Stationary chat for the ages.
There is still a place for it, honestly. There is a place for this and that.
There is. Yeah, for sure.
Round uptake, I'm actually a post-it note guy still.
Oh, see, I've got my other business partner is a post-it note guy, and I sometimes
all on the wall.
Just all over everything.
They're on my monitor, like around my monitor with like anything else.
So you just pick them off when you're done.
I get the visual of like knocking it off.
A couple of weeks ago, I got a new post-it note pad, and wrote a whole lot of post-it notes for him, and sort of stuck them in between all of his 30-odd post-it notes, and they were all like, use more post-it notes, buy more post-it notes, running out of post-it notes, just like that. And he didn't notice for about 3 days, which proves that
the post-it notes aren't working.
Exactly.
So he's now got post-it note blindness.
No, he's just a bit miffed with me. I think he's still sulking a bit.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, look, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on. And yeah, before we get into like the decision sprint and all that sort of stuff, I'd love for you to just introduce yourself and tell everyone who you help and what you do.
Great. I am James Wakefield. I do 2 things at the moment. I'm the executive chair of the Cobalt Group, which is about 130 people split across 3 brands in the US, UK and Germany, doing recruitment into the built environment, finance and now renewable offshore wind farm servicing. And then alongside that, and at the moment, slightly less because the Cobalt role is quite large, I'm partner in a small M&A firm called Leith M&A.
Great. And who do you help?
From the Cobalt perspective, I'd say that because I'm the exec chair and effectively therefore the CEO, I hopefully help the people who work for Cobalt and the group to develop and learn and make all the right decisions and grow the business and improve the business as much as grow it. And then on the Leith side, we tend to help people to sell their businesses, and occasionally we help people to buy businesses, but we are very good at holding people's hand through a sale process, especially if it's a once in a lifetime, the big one thing. Yeah. That's the kind of the much more personal and very careful service we offer.
Cool. And then that's kind of like sales side preparation through to the deal.
Everything. And occasionally we sit down with people who are 3 years out of a sale, and instead of it being sale preparation, it's more about what changes could they make to the business to achieve a much better result in 3 years.
Yeah.
What could they do to fix their leadership, their management team, their systems, their sales, their client portfolio, whatever it might be. So yeah, it's sometimes further out and it's advisory, and then when it becomes more transactional, I have a partner who's been doing M&A for 20 years and he tends to take the lead.
Cool. And we were saying, just as we were walking in, we were saying that we've known each other for 7-8 years, I think, but only met. This is the second time we've been in the same room.
I think it's the second time,
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad.
It's the modern world.
Yeah. It's the world of LinkedIn and Zoom calls, and but look, it's great that we get to have this conversation. First question, I just use as a grounding question with everyone, which is, what's one thing you know today about leadership that you didn't know 5 years ago?
I didn't know that AI was going to be useful 5 years ago. I didn't know that that was genuinely going to become a really useful part of my toolkit. Yeah. That's A, not what I was expecting you to say, but B, makes like complete sense, doesn't it? Because, I mean, so how are you using it right now? How is AI like today So on a personal level, I use it to do the same research I would have once done with Google or whatever search engine I was using, but much more quickly and much more efficiently. I use it to improve some of the things that I'm writing. I don't ever use it to originate the stuff, but I sometimes use it to improve it. And then, day to day, we are going through the process of trying to make sure that anything that shouldn't be done by humans is actually not being done by humans, so that humans within the Cobalt group are just doing what only humans can do. The selling, the persuading, the understanding, the empathizing, the controlling of processes. So we're going through a process of attempting to get to a place where humans are just doing what humans can do.
Yeah. And I think there's a tension in businesses right now, certainly the businesses that I get to have conversations with and work with, of what are the tasks that humans should be doing and we should be enabling AI to automate, etc. I'm going to ask the question I think is like the elephant in the room from a recruitment perspective. There's obviously very well-funded startups, particularly in the US, that have a phenomenal amount of money thrown behind them that are aiming to do recruitment, like end to end. Like, where do you sit on that?
I think it's got a genuine place where recruitment is more transactional, and it literally is about finding somebody who can do a functional role, and the process of finding that person really doesn't require empathy and negotiation and understanding and EQ and all of those things. I think that where recruitment or search or whatever you want to call it is genuinely more consultative, and where you need to put humans together and you need to understand from a psychology and an empathy perspective what's going to work and what's not, and processes need to be properly managed and they might take some time. I think that AI is some way off being able to replace that. I'm not afraid of AI at all. I think it's a wonderful tool. And as a Swiss friend once said to me, if AI truly is going to replace us all, well, the lake is on fire and we may as well not worry about it.
Yeah. And I think I was speaking to a friend last night. Actually, we're out for dinner. He is a solo recruiter, and we were having a conversation about his business and about AI. And what's really interesting is he's come from the industry. So he's come from the industry, 20 years experience, etc. And he was basically saying, Ben, really not worried, because actually what AI is now helping me to do is it's helping me to create scale as a solopreneur, but turning up to the conferences and knowing the people I'm hanging out with and really immersing myself in that is actually meaning that the differentiator now is around the complex human skill set, which takes effort, reps, etc. to master and build those true relationships. And I think also, just as a side note, in the last 12 months, I've seen way more people invest way more time in meeting people face to face. Like the fact that we're doing this today here rather than on a Zoom call, I think just plays into the fact that actually people want to spend more time together.
Yeah, I think it's the same when anything major happens, whether it be COVID causing working from home to suddenly be a thing, or something that maybe had been ignored by society for a long time suddenly becoming in very much a conscious part of society. There's a pendulum, and the pendulum swings way over here, and everybody's views are over here, and then it swings back, and there's a resistance, and then it often settles somewhere in the middle. I think until AI can truly empathize and truly understand different types of human and truly work out how to manage the complex relationships between different types of personalities and different types of human and different people from different cultures. I think that AI is just a wonderful accelerating tool. But I do think that any business that isn't making sure that it's having its people doing what only people can do over the course of the next year and a half is going to be really struggling in a year and a half's time. There is no place for people doing what actually can be done in seconds by a wonderful tool.
Yeah, and scheduled for you. Like if I think about just on a micro kind of scale with Ethereum, like we use Claude. My Claude co-work with like scheduled tasks to remind me, integrated into HubSpot, etc. Like actually the initial investment of time in working out how that works, now I'm just so much more effective because of that. So yeah, really good tool. Great answer. Thank you. Should we have a play with this?
Let's do it.
Okay. So you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold up the 5 cards. Each of the 5 cards has got a different challenge scenario. You get the opportunity to pick one. Read it to yourself. If you don't like it, you can pass. So you get 1 pass. Once you've decided you've got it, let me know which number it is. And then we'll set 5 minutes on the timer. I'll push the Plord over to you. Josh will activate the Plord. And then you've got up to 5 minutes to answer. Up to. You don't have to use all of it, but up to 5 minutes. Happy?
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Okay, I've got number 3 of 5. I'm going to swap this because you suggested I watch one of the previous ones. And this is the one that was on that one. I literally only watched it about 2 hours ago.
Okay, so you think you're too prepped?
I think I'd like something that's not prepped.
Fresh. Okay, let's go again.
Okay, same thing again.
Oh.
Okay, number 5.
Number 5. So this one's a bit different. I'm actually part of the founding team behind a new exclusive community. It's called My Spare Seat. And basically, it's a private auction community for last-minute luxury experiences. Michelin restaurant tables that have just opened up, hospitality at big sporting events, Wimbledon, F1, luxury hotel stays, the kind of things that become available at the last minute because someone just can't use it anymore. Instead of those things going to waste, it gets posted to the group, members bid on it, highest bid wins, and someone actually gets to make use of that experience. It's invitation only, deliberately kept small, trusted members, exclusive opportunities, and no noise. If that sounds like your world, the link's below. There's always a spare seat with your name on it. Cool, I'll read it out. Okay, so the reversal card. A meaningful strategic decision you've championed. A hire or a market choice or a product direction or a program or an operational bet that you've publicly associated with has now produced mixed results at best. I think that's polite. Mixed results at best. The evidence is strong enough that reversing or changing the course is defensible, but reversing it is expensive financially, operationally, and personally. And your next board meeting is in 2 weeks. What's your call? All right, so you've got 5 minutes, maximum of 5 minutes to answer that, to come up with your call. All right, so what we'll do, we'll put 5 minutes on here. Here we go, 5 minutes. You ready with Applaud?
I'm ready.
James, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 5 minutes, it starts now.
Okay. I've done this a few times. Thankfully, I've had the opposite occur as well. Make a decision, and you understood everything that you thought you needed to understand before you made the decision. But then the outcome of that decision is not what you wanted. and the evidence suggests that you should reverse it, then you should reverse it right away. So don't consider the expense, because good money after bad is nonsense. Don't consider the personal damage, because a good leader should always be able to admit their mistakes and own them, take full responsibility for them. And I think that it would actually do more operational damage if whatever the decision hasn't worked, to plough on or delay making a call on it. I think that the timing of board meetings or team meetings or any meetings are, in this sort of situation, pretty arbitrary. Just because there is a next board meeting in 2 weeks, you shouldn't wait until there is a meeting to make a decision, because it'll only eat you up for the 2 weeks between now and then, and things will probably just get worse, or at best be stagnant. So I'd probably inform the board that we made a call. It wasn't the right one. We've tried to understand why that is. I'd probably suggest that at the board meeting, we'll come with some form of report that actually tries to delve into why it didn't work out. But the decision that I'm recommending that the board make, or that I'm making, if indeed that's the situation where I can make it and the board is simply being told, the decision is being reversed.
Happy? Anything else?
Only that the moment the board has been told and either has approved it or understands what the situation is, then tell everybody who is involved what's happened and why. Again, own it. Explain that we made a call with all the right intentions and all the right research, but it didn't turn out as we hoped it might. And stop all work being done on that project, and work out how best cost effectively to reverse what's being done, and then spend time working out what to do instead.
Cards down. We're locked in. Good stuff. All good? Got it. Right, we'll stop this. How was that?
At the risk of looking really silly when you give me a score in a minute, because I only saw the scoring system and the one I watched earlier today, I think that was quite a straightforward one. That was more straightforward than the one that I watched earlier today.
Okay.
I think.
For you?
For me, yeah.
Your lived experiences. And actually what was really interesting is I read that reversal card, the scenario, and I thought, this is probably going to be the sort of situation that James has experienced, thinking about the roles you've done and the role you do. So when you read it and you said, I've lived this a few times, where did that take you back to?
Well, I think that's the key thing. And I'm forever saying to people that time served and amount of experience is often way overstated in terms of the importance that people place upon it. But actually, in a situation like this, having been in this situation and not done what I've just described,
okay,
and then watched things get worse because of that, or watched things unfold, or in the worst instance, persevering with something that's a rubbish idea for a year or more until you actually have got to stop doing it because you're just wasting time, you're flogging the dead horse. This is one of those situations where I think experience actually is valuable, because it's much easier to say it's obvious what to do.
Yeah, and to counter that, does that make you, when you've, and I can think of scenarios in businesses when I've been in businesses and we have ploughed good money after bad, because there's an emotional attachment, isn't there? There's an emotional attachment to, we've invested time, money, and effort in this direction, and it's gone wrong. And this is like just a thought experiment now. Is there a risk that actually you go too far the other way and you cut too early when you're presented with a similar set of evidence?
There is a risk, and I think that's where the value of a good team is important, because you often have people who are very decisive and people who are the opposite, and actually you want both in a small enough team to be able to make a good decision, because you can sense check. If I have become more, let's say, ruthless in my decision making, or more assertive in my decision making as I've got older, then having some other people in the room who are maybe a bit more thoughtful and want to just wait, check, that's helpful. But you know when a call is a bad one. You know when somebody's not going to work out, or when a plan's just flawed. And in this scenario, it's probably something uncontrollable that has turned out to unpick it. You hopefully make a decision knowing everything that's controllable. So yes, there's a risk, but a team and time probably help that risk be mitigated.
Yeah, that's fair. How do you create, how do you, in terms of how you operate as a leader, how do you create and try to create the space and opportunity for that team to feed in that scenario?
Well, you have to make sure that the right people are involved, and you don't have half-baked conversations without all of the right people involved in it. You also have to make sure that there aren't too many people involved, such that it becomes a long committee. You have to give people different personalities more or less time to think. If somebody is more inclined to want to know the detail, go away, sleep on it, think about it, you have to give them that time, otherwise you won't get their best input. Equally, if somebody is perhaps a more red persuasion, you probably get their best input in the first 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. So you have to respect the different types of people. And then ultimately, as a leader, you have to gather all of the information and you have to make the call. You can't let somebody else do it, and you can't let it feel like, especially if it's a difficult call, you can't let it feel like somebody else is making the call. You have to make it and own it and make it clear that it's your decision.
Yeah. And that leads me on to then thinking about how that is then communicated. Because I guess if you've got your war room together and you've got the right personalities in there, a good amount of cognitive diversity, etc., but the right people, and you're going to have to make a call. I guess at some point, some of them, you've listened to their perspectives, you've taken all that data on board, and then you've disagreed, and you've gone a different way. How do you protect their buy-in and motivation on the plan when you've just got to say, yeah, thanks for all of that, but actually I'm going left?
You just reminded me of one of my favourite stories about Brian Clough.
Okay.
Right. He was asked once, it's like digression, but he was asked once, what does he do if a player disagrees with him? And he says, well, I invite him into my office and we have a cup of tea and we talk about what he thinks and what I think, and then we decide I was right. Not that.
Yeah.
I think that two things. One, if you're a good leader, then the conversation is calm and you are calm throughout. There's no place in a situation where an important decision has to be made, potentially a difficult one, if you aren't absolutely calm and if you aren't looking everybody in the eye and giving everybody the time to speak and not flapping. And you have to be, especially if you're someone like me who is inclined to fill a room with words because that's my personality, you have to shut up, listen. But once you've gathered all of the information, you explain why you're making a decision and you make it clear that that's the decision and you explain it to people. It's as simple as that. I think in leadership, one of the most important words that sometimes is not used enough is clarity. People like clarity. They don't necessarily need you to agree with them. They just want whatever is being done to be clear. So yeah, explain it, own it.
Yeah, and I think the clarity bit is interesting because you're the second guest today. Second or third, Josh? Clarity? Clarity's come up a lot today as just super crucial. And I think it can be seen as a risk to be too transparent sometimes. And I think there's a lot of actually like show as little as possible. But often I think that clarity and transparency just engenders trust.
Yeah.
And I think, it's really interesting that it's come up time and time again today, particularly that actually that clarity piece is freeing. Because if you are really clear with people about your thought process, what you've taken in, etc., and calm and matter of fact, then I think they can go for that change curve a lot quicker.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, well, hang on, why wasn't my idea the best idea? But I think it enables people to go for that change curve faster and then ultimately get behind you, the decision and the new direction. So yeah, that's super helpful.
I think if you've got the right people in the room, then part of the process of doing anything is for them to be learning and developing, so that at some point you've got to do something else and they can be doing what you're doing. And therefore the example that you set all the time has got to be one that hopefully people can learn from. And that's just about doing the right thing. Always do the right thing, no matter whether it's difficult or not.
Yeah. You've just given me a thought. Is there a situation with this where you would defer your decision on this to someone else?
If there was a subject matter expert in the room that genuinely understood it better than me, then I would want their opinion, and I would very much focus on what their opinion was. But if I've read the card correctly, it's my call to make. So I've still got to own the decision, but I've just got to place more emphasis on the person or the people with the most expertise and the most knowledge of the situation.
Yeah. So you'd still make the call, but you're leaning on maybe the percentage of call on that based on that genuine subject matter expert.
The important thing about this, and this is not a negative, it's a positive. If you make a decision that potentially some might think is reputationally damaging, but you make it clear that you've not deferred it to somebody else, and then you explain why the decision has been reversed and explain what's going to happen next. If you do that enough consistently, then you will gain from it, in terms of how you're viewed and the perception of you, not lose.
Mm.
You by being authentic and just always being responsible and taking ownership of things, typically people do think, okay, that's I want that, whether we always make the right decisions or not. I want that clarity.
Yeah, particularly when the world's spinning faster, geopolitically, business, etc. Like, actually, that clarity piece helps. I think it helps buy leaders more latitude with their teams. They'll actually be minded to change more frequently. And generally, when we change, it can upset dynamics and culture, etc. So actually, if you can create that stability around your decision-making process, then it buys you that latitude. Do you want to have a look at your score?
Sure. Look, this is a bit like Top Gear, isn't it?
It is a bit like Top Gear. So we've said, haven't we? We have said that we need to get like a sticky Top Gear board.
We do need a sticky leaderboard. Yeah.
A sticky leaderboard. We will. It's in the works. It's in the works. Okay. Right. So what we're going to do, we'll have a look at your score. I'm going to give you a moment to read it, and then we'll do like a little micro coaching session on where you're at.
I can close my book now.
Are we ready? Yeah. Let's do it. Oh, is that a new leader?
That is the highest score.
James, you've just taken top spot.
That's good. How many people have done it?
We are now on 8 or 9.
Okay.
8 or 9.
Right.
72. Well done.
Thank you. I don't know what it means.
Well, it means 72%. I mean, a 72% is a first. So have a read at your strengths and your watch out, and then we'll unpick some of the middle stuff.
Suck you picked up. You know, good.
Yeah, that's fair. The watch out is fair.
Cool. So catalyst. Catalyst is like the archetypes. We've got 5 different archetypes that come out. You've seen. What was Natalie?
I think she might have been a catalyst.
I think she was.
Was Scarlett a catalyst as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So we've just had Scarlett in, who I've known since she started in the recruitment world. She's now in tech sales. But she came out as a catalyst as well and scored quite well. So back to you. So congratulations. You are top for the time being.
I wouldn't expect to stay
borrowed altitude. Well, we think that 88 might be one of the highest scores you could possibly get, but we'll see. So 72 is up there. Look at the 5 dimensions. Any of those surprising for you?
Well, given how much I emphasise the importance of clarity, it appears that I've only done okay on clarity. Yeah, the 2 highest scores make sense. Yeah, I think that all makes sense. I probably, and that is in keeping with my personality, but probably also the nature of the bigger role that I do. That I try to make sure that I'm not telling people what the plan should be. Plans should be formed by the people who are actually going to execute the plans, mission command.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where that operator density part is just naturally in me to think, I will direct the creation of a plan, but I'll need the team to come up with a plan.
Yeah. So, so I think, the operator density bit, it's actually, the operator density is often the bit that people score lowest on. We haven't had anyone that scored I don't think above a 65 on operator density, because part of the challenge of the scenario is you've got 5 minutes, you're on the spot, etc. So actually, once you've formulated the different parameters and you've made your decision, and you've done your high level kind of plan, I think it's quite challenging to then under pressure go into, and this is the drop down if I double clicked. So I think that makes sense. And as you've just described in your role, kind of where you sit as well, it's not necessarily your go-to to then go into the weeds on the plan.
What does trade-off articulation mean?
Yeah, okay. So trade-off articulation is an understanding, and it's having the understanding and being able to describe that there is not necessarily one outcome to this. And I think that's really important, and becoming even more important in leadership decision making, understanding actually if we do A, we can't do B and C at the same time. Mm. And so there is an opportunity cost, and that's what that's describing, that actually there's an opportunity cost. And I think what you did really nicely there was understand that actually we've invested some resources, we've invested some time here. There is an opportunity cost of stopping, but we still need to stop. So that's where the trade-off articulation bit. I think decision speed and conviction were just super high, because you kind of read it, we started the timer and you were like, right, I know where I'm going with this. And also, I think your past lived experience played nicely into that, because you said, I've been in this. I've been on both sides of this before. So it kind of demonstrated and it came out in your answer. What do you think about it as a process?
It's really interesting. I was telling a couple of the guys in the office I was coming to do this beforehand, and somebody said, that sounds novel. And that's exactly how I would describe it. It's really quite interesting. I've not ever done it before. Obviously, you and I have talked about the tool that you've got, and this kind of links into how you explained that. But yeah, it's genuinely interesting. Interesting is a good word for me. When I first met my wife, I called her interesting, and she repeats it to me every week.
Yeah, I bet she does.
Interesting
is a great word. Yeah. Then, like if we're describing your wife, it's up there.
Great, yeah.
I haven't asked this question yet today. When I ask it, if there were 2 people that you think we should invite on next, who would they be?
There's one who I don't think would do it.
Okay.
But he is potentially the most clear and assertive leader I've ever worked with. And he's a guy that I served in the forces with, but has subsequently gone on to do amazing things and be the kind of the change maker in big organisations. I won't put his name out here because I haven't asked him if I can. And then there's another who's quite a lot younger, who is out of the world of football, and somebody who I hired as a general manager for a football club a few years ago. And he subsequently became the youngest CEO in professional football in England.
Wow.
He's currently the CEO at Walsall. He'd be good. And he's one of those people who, it doesn't matter that he was 26 or 27 at the time that we hired him. He had that clarity that more experienced leaders have at that age. Just absolutely 100% designed to be a leader.
Okay. So you think they both beat you?
Ooh, I've got no idea.
No idea. Well, I'll tell you what, after this, if you speak to them and you're happy to intro them to me, then I'd love to have them on, because I think both of those would be really interesting to kind of have the conversation with, and they definitely share some value to our audience, but also it'd be interesting to see how they line up against different cards as well. But James, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. And let's not let's not only meet up 2 times in real life.
Yeah. Cheers, Ben. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.